Howdy, howdy, y'all. Welcome back to Semantics, the accessibility stream whose name you have to say aloud. Um, I have with me today Alex Trost of Front End Horse Notoriety. Alex, how's it going?
It's going great, Ben. I'm really thrilled to be here. Yeah, when you asked me on, I was super thrilled, and it's here. It's here. We are here. We're gonna be talking Slice Machine, Prismic, shipping a page builder on Next.js. It's gonna be a lot
Yeah,
of fun.
it's
I'm
gonna be
I'm
so good.
excited. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So for folks in the chat who might not know who you are, and as I'm looking at the chat, there's lots of folks who probably know who you are, but just in case, just for posterity, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm a four-time heavyweight WWE champion.
Okay, seems
But
legit.
most people probably know me from or what I'm into now. I think is what I should say. I am a developer experience engineer at Prismic. We are a headless component based CMS, and I've been kind of focusing on doing live streams like this. And so what I've been doing over on my channel is primarily focusing on a show called Component Carousel, where we have someone on every Wednesday and they build just the coolest component around a theme that we have for the month. So this month is Kaiju Demolition Services, and just
Yes.
on Wednesday we had Bruno Simone, who is a 3JS expert, master, wizard, um, come on and build a Godzilla that rampages through a physics-based city and knocks these blocks around. That it was super cool to make that with web tech, and it was fantastic. We have Zach Saucier from Rally Agency coming on Wednesday, and he's gonna make something super cool. And we just have people on, and it's a lot of fun. We learn how to make a component that you probably aren't able to make during your day job, but you get to learn fun web tech that you can hopefully bring back to your day job, right?
Yes.
So that's what I've been focusing on. But I also do a newsletter and write some articles about creative web development. I just try to I like focusing on the more fantastical side of web dev, where like you see those code pens where you're just like, this would never be put on a site, but this is
Mhm.
incredible. They just did an entire portrait with CSS, or they did something
Yes.
incredible. So like that's always been my thing, and I like to write about it and shine a light on those things. So yeah, lots of people in the chat. What's going
Yeah.
on?
Lots of good folks. And by the way, want to shout out a few followers. Nick, thank you for following. We've also got Marcelo followed, Swag Killer 007, who I believe is named Anthony. So
You nailed it. Well done, Ben.
boom. So thank you all for following, and thank you all for being here. Lots of great folks in the chat, and it's good to see you all. Yeah, let me go ahead and start showing some screens, and yeah. So we've got Alex's Twitter up. Go follow Alex's Twitter. Lots of great stuff there. Also, here is oh, my computer has slowed down. There we go. That's been happening more and more as I stream. But
Ah,
so this is the front end course site. Lots of great fun stuff there. You're gonna get a kick out of this. And just absolutely gorgeous demos. Like you're doing a great job. Um,
thanks.
so yeah, I put the link to front end horse, to Alex's Twitter, and to Alex's Twitch in the chat. So go follow him all the places. It's incredible. Travis wants to know whether this is related to the Horse JS Twitter account, and I think we can
No,
neither confirm nor deny.
that might be a what's it called? I was gonna say hidden personality, but that's not like Batman. Batman has a
Mm-hmm.
secret identity. Hidden
Yeah.
personality is
Well,
two synonyms that my brain went to. I don't know why.
mm-hmm.
But
I feel like I feel like if you had the front end horse brand and also you were Horse JS, like that would be like Batman running a Twitter account called like opinionated Bat Person and going totally not the same person.
yeah, I barely have enough energy to do the one. But yeah, I'm not familiar with the Horse JS thing. I've got to check that out.
You
But
let's yeah, I think we gotta check this out. Ooh, there we go. Horse JS. What is running behind the scenes? Yeah, here we go. So Horse JS, right?
oh, I'm mining crypto on your computer.
Oh,
That's
okay,
that's the script I
got
sent
it.
you earlier. Is that cool? Oh, this is
Yeah,
so funny. Yeah, I had to have seen this at some point and kind of gone, oh, that's funny, but no idea who any of these JavaScript Twitter personalities showing that.
Yep.
This is good. I've got to check this out. I'm not that familiar. I'm not even following them, I don't think, but I don't know. Thank you for giving me the heads up, Wave.
Mm-hmm.
Mind blown me.
There we go. So speaking of that script you got me, dude, we gotta have a talk.
What's up?
We gotta have a talk. So first of all, you sent me. Let me I guess kick this up because I don't know. Like I kind of feel you might be stepping on my toes a bit.
What?
I
don't know what you mean.
Let me just show you. Let me just show you.
Okay.
You sent me
Okay.
this project. You're like, here's what we're working on today.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I guess I just
Should be there at localhost. Yeah.
yeah okay.
Keeps
Ooh,
compiling.
let me just open it up manually. Because I think some other browser just decided to open up localhost instead. This
Oh,
Opera. Welcome, Opera.
Opera. Wow.
God.
That's a
What an
that's a
entrance.
name I haven't heard in quite a while. It's Opera Mini though, right? That's my browser of
Why would
choice.
it open two operas? Oh my god, what an adventure. Okay, let me just do this manually, and then we can have a serious heart to heart here because yeah.
Yeah,
What
this is
gives?
my this is the site I put together. More antics. It's just I don't know. I just thought of it yesterday. I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty zany kind of
Okay.
guy. I'm always getting into things. So I'm like, I think I should talk about increasing that, getting some more antics. And I just kind of came up with this color scheme and logo
Okay.
and stuff. So
Yeah, so purple and yellow
Yeah.
and red and antics.
kind of
and-
like it. Yeah, so I just thought it was, it's just me. It felt
Yeah,
like me.
felt
So
very you. Okay.
I figured I would come on your stream to might as well, since I'm here, do something for myself and build
Right.
out my personal site here. So yeah, if
Okay.
if
Look-
that's cool, if I just continue to do that.
It's not, but okay, let's do it. Yeah, so this is more antics, which by the way, like I need to co-opt this name from your brand, of course, from your brand.
Yeah, this is mine. This is clearly mine.
Because
This is the Wario to your Mario is basically
there we
was
go.
the idea here. Where I even took the logo and twisted it the way that like Wario might. So yeah, this is the evil version,
There we
yet
go.
not that evil of some antics.
More
And
antics
It's not as
is-
good of
yeah.
a pun.
More antics
Yeah.
is some antics after hours.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just more than a little
got
bit.
it.
So yeah.
Got it. So what are we going to be doing today, Alex?
So this site is built out, and if you like scroll through it or whatever, it's not like the site itself is not like, wow, what a site. These are kind of just like standard components that I put together, asking for more antics. I'm proud of this one down here. So if we can just I'm always ready to provide more antics than the competition. From the Pacific to the Atlantic, no one's got more antics. I should have put that higher on the site,
Okay,
but I
okay.
just thought that, that was my wordsmithing for the day. But anyway, yeah, so each of these sections here, so like this contact form, this more antics is everywhere, like this bit of content here, the featured posts section, those are all slices that are built out in Prismic. If you head over to the Prismic repository that you've got open,
Yes.
that third tab there, if you pop into the home page when it loads,
Yep. All right. Pop into home. Cool.
so you can see that each of those sections that we had there are a slice here. So right here is that hero section. And you can see it says like switch variations. We can get into that in just a sec.
Okay.
But like we have the heading there, the body, have an image. I failed to put alt text, shame on me. But yeah, so you are a contributor on this, so you can go ahead and bring in the accessibility expertise and set me straight. Set me
Fancy room, perhaps. Oh, no,
yeah, I
fancy.
swear I typed out like that, almost that exact. Yeah, and then the button text. So all this is coming from the CMS. Those blog cards are just repeatable blogs there. So this is all us. Each one of those sections is a slice inside our site here. And the cool thing is that we are able to reuse these slices to move them around as we see fit. and kind of do whatever you want. So like if you hit the down arrow on the hero section there.
Okay. Let's see. There. Oop. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there
Seems
you
to
go.
have
Cool.
moved it.
So
Okay.
it should be down. Yep. And so if you hit save up at the top right, what you just did is you just slid it under the previous one. And then if you hit publish, and then a little thing will pop up and say, like, do you want to publish now? Do you want to publish in a release later? We just want to
Okay.
publish now. So go ahead. And then you can go over to localhost 3000 and refresh that. And now our hero should be underneath the, I guess, the featured post one. Yeah. So if you scroll up,
Oh.
there's
wow.
our hero.
Okay.
And so you're just able to use and reuse these slices and build out whatever kind of page you want. So anyone can come in here and kind of have that same sort of page builder experience where we have. Yeah, here I'll show you. So back in Prismic, if you click the plus button at the top there, right there, you can see here are the components or the slices that we have at our disposal. So we can add another hero section in here. We can add blog cards in there as again, that content grid, navigation bar. That one I should have deleted. That one's vestigial, as they say. That one when I was making the demo, but anyway, and the contact form. So we can now use these and put these on a multitude of sites. So today I want to add a new slice with you to this site that I built out.
Okay.
And I'm thinking like a testimonial slice would be kind of cool because like these sorts of slices, like a hero section slice is pretty common. Like you need one of those for pretty much every site. And you might have a couple of different variations. One where like the image is on the right, one where the image is on the left, and one where the image is in the background, right? You can do all that as a variation on the hero section. So it's a pretty versatile setup.
I do definitely like the idea of doing testimonials for that because I know More Antics is a very fledgling brand and it needs all the help it can get. It needs some serious credibility to all of its antics.
Yeah, but I know the chat's going to provide me with some really good quotes to put in there, and so we can credit them. So yeah, More Antics, I'm sure any second now the chat's going to be flooding us with a very strong testimonial about how impressive, how brave More Antics is as a brand, and how it's changed their lives. So I'm just waiting on that, and I'm sure we'll have some good content by the end of this stream. So we're going to be starting up Slice Machine, which is a local development environment tool that pretty much brings the creation of all those slices to our local environment. So if you head over to the terminal and start a new tab, we're going to have a few tabs in our terminal and a few tabs in Chrome, but you get used to the workflow pretty quick.
So I'm guessing
so if you go to the just go to the folder that we're working in.
All right. Ooh, there we go. Cool. Create a quick.
Right. So chat, we're still waiting on a stronger endorsement than Wade's. Most active antics of the 2020s. That's solid so far. Okay. I think we can get stronger.
All right.
Cool. So
I used to have no antics, but now I have more antics than I know what to do with. I think that one might be it.
It's an arms race. It's an antics race at this point. We're gonna absolutely I'm sure the next person on this will do a most antics, and it's just gonna get out of hand.
Yeah, and at some point, the previous antics, they're gonna look quite antiquated.
All right, we can wrap it up. I think.
Anyways, thank you all for joining us today. This has been Prismic. I'll see you on Tuesday. We got Chance Strickland coming up. Yeah.
You had that ending roll like lined up. That was impressive. All right, so here let's do yarn slice machine is the command once you're inside More Antics.
Okay. And that's slice machine one word.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And we can check out, you know what, let's also check out our repository in VS Code just to kind of give people a bit of grounding here. Yeah, so I meant to also have us look around the project. So
let's do that, because I want to see how all the Prismic stuff is actually landing in our application.
It's magic,
okay.
Ben. We can't tell you. No, it's good.
So
Oh, you've got your bar on the right. Interesting.
yeah, because so this is the thing I picked up from Jason Langsdorff, but it means that when I collapse the sidebar, my code doesn't jump. It
That just makes sense.
from one
See, I
streamer
thought it
to
was
another.
wow. All right. I appreciate it. That makes a lot. That's it's still gonna take me a little bit of time to get used to, but that still makes
Hmm.
sense. The jarring jump is
Yep.
that makes sense. B1 Minds in the chat. I got some great people here.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's see where to start. So right now, if you open up Pages,
Yes. And this
and if
is
you
a Next.js project, so
yes,
Pages is like
exactly.
a
Thank you.
magically named directory that actually constructs our routes, is my understanding.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, so Pages is a Next.js specific thing. Index.js, if you open that up,
Sure thing.
that is basically handling our homepage. So if you see right there, API params says UID home to a line 20.
Line 20. Oh, I see. Yes.
Yeah, so that is querying for the page that we've given the UID of home back in Prismic, and so it's pulling that in statically. So this is all going to build statically, and yeah, I don't know if I had a follow up, but it's get exported as a static site, so it's going to
Oh.
all be fetched at build time.
Oh, I love that. I was getting worried because it's like, well, if I'm hosting a page and that page has to fetch a whole bunch of stuff from Prismic, it seems like that would be a performance bottleneck. But no, it's all static. All
Yeah,
happening
so
built in.
yeah,
Lovely, lovely.
yeah, and then it passes what it gets back. It's basically going to get back anything on that page, and a lot of it's going to be our slices. And so if you scroll up a little bit, you'll see that we get back props. I left a console login because I am not a professional, but also because I wanted you to know what's happening.
Yeah, gotta know those
but
props.
exactly, but that slice zone component right there is basically what goes through the slices that it receives from Prismic. So
Okay.
it says we have this slice called hero, and we have this data, and then the resolver says, okay, well, hero goes to this component, and we're going to pass the data through to this component, and
Okay.
that's how we basically loop through and render each slice out with the data that it's supposed to get.
That's
So
very
it all
cool.
kind of happens slightly magically, but it's Slice Zone is just a well tested, easy way to do a for loop of looping through all of the slices that are coming in off of your request. So this page handles rendering out the home page, and then the bracket UID JS right above it is pretty much the same thing. This is just going to take in anything that we go to. So like we have a /about page. And so if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that the params.uid at line 21, that's coming that's coming off of that request. And so we're grabbing that UID, and then we're going back to Prismic and saying, hey, do you have a file with that as the UID? And since we do, it's going to bring the data for about back and pretty much do the same thing after that.
Very neat.
But the index.js just handles the / because otherwise it would be like /home, right? So you want to have the index.js there for that. And then, yeah, we can get into preview in a little bit, and I guess not, that's going to happen within that API folder. But other than that, this is pretty much what's handling the fetching of it. If you open up the slices folder over on the right.
Yes. Okay.
And that's where we are keeping those slices. So those main components that are, like those big horizontal sections, like the contact form, the hero section, it's just React code, and it is styled with Tailwind. Totally up to you though. Like there's nothing about slices that makes it React specific, Tailwind specific, anything. We can use Slice Machine with Nuxt also. It's a great view. It's a great collaboration tool, or no, it works well with Nuxt is what I'm saying. I don't got the words, Ben. I don't have the words in my brain. They're all mushing around in there. I don't know what's going on.
You have activated
I'm just
Lucy, I think is her name, who says, someone
Lucy,
said Nuxt?
Yes.
Yes.
Someone said Nuxt, yeah. if you say Nux 3 times, Lucy knocks on your door. It's like the Bloody Mary thing, saying it in the mirror.
Okay.
But she just shows up and she will help you out with whatever you want. It's not scary at all. It's delightful. She's fantastic.
So
So thank you,
I
Lucy.
I'm hard of hearing, and I had a very appropriate mishearing, which is what that I thought you were implying that Lucy knocks on my door, and it's so good when your deafness leads to better puns than you ever could.
Come and knocks on my door. I hope I didn't get you copyright strike there with my incredible rendition of
Shut it
Come and
down.
Knock on My Door. Yeah, I'm
they're
sorry.
they're gonna come. The RIAA is gonna come and just take it down. No more antics.
No one even I mean, you should still give subs. Everyone should subscribe, but it's not going to go to you, Ben. It's going right to the Bezos of the RIAA. I'm
I
not
don't
sure who
have
that is.
subscriptions yet.
Oh, geez.
I'm working on.
All right, just
That's actually one of the reasons I'm
We'll
having
get you
this
there.
kind of extra, stream, right? It's because I want to like actually hit the window of like 7 streams over a 30-day period. Hence the
works.
little Friday stream with a good friend.
let's get you over the line. I love
do
it.
it.
Cool. So yeah, so this is just a slice. If you check out model.json there,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
actually where our data is defined. And don't worry, you don't have to go in and edit this.
Okay.
This is what Slice Machine does, and I'll show you that in just a sec. But basically, the beauty of it is that we have our data stored right next to our React code so that we can version control both together. If you're not using Slice Machine, the data model, and that's kind of like the old way of using Prismic, but this is like the new / canary way. Like this is still something that we are working on and developing, and so this is not like fully production ready yet, but we're right on the cusp. So I'm showing you some cool new stuff, but the beauty of it is that yes, you have this version controlled. You can branch off, and it's yeah, all the benefits of having your data models stored in Git. And so if we want to go ahead and open up that terminal, I think we ran Slice Machine, so let's head back to the terminal and see if that it launched. And let's do one more thing before opening Slice Machine. We can open it, but Slice Machine makes it super easy to integrate Storybook. If you're not familiar with Storybook, Storybook is a great way to build out UI components. It gives you like this isolated environment where you don't have to build it along everything else and worry about like, is the CSS bleeding in? Is that function, crapping out and hitting that function? And we also give you some pre-built mocks that I'll show you in a sec. So that Storybook's fantastic with Slice Machine. So if you open up a new terminal tab,
cool. And
kind of workflow, you kind of have 3 going.
Yep. I recently, earlier on stream, I created a little alias just so I can type more and all.
Yeah, I saw that. That was awesome. Cool. So, Yarn Storybook.
Yarn Storybook. Okay.
And then this is the one that might take a few seconds. But in the meantime, we can go to Slice Machine UI, and that's at localhost, I think 999 or 9000, something in the nines. 9999.
Okay.
9999.
I will just type that in manually so I don't open up 3 different browsers in one go.
I wanted to see what Opera would do because we haven't tested it in Opera all that well. So that's why I'm here, is to give it the old Opera test.
You're trying to find the one Opera user.
Yes. Yeah. No. We got your address from a friend. You filled out a survey. You were the one person. So if you could,
all right.
Tell us. I just have one question.
Yes.
Why?
So Opera GX. First of all, I'm using specifically Opera GX. In a day-to-day, it is meant like it's advertised as like a gaming browser, which means it has integrations built in for like letting me control the performance of the browser, or it has like default. Cool. It has like default like built-in like Twitch integration, so I have like a pane that I can slide over to see who's online and stuff like that. So there's legitimate reasons.
There you go. I haven't touched Opera in a very long time, I've never heard of Opera GX. That's awesome. So we just saw that Storybook kicked open.
Yes.
Can we check on the other tab? Is that
Yes. Oh, there we go.
weird? There we go. Cool.
Cool.
I think because we were kicking up both at the same time, Slice Machine might have been looking for Storybook, and they were both kind of pending. So I think that's what happened. I'm not sure. Cool. Just checking the chat real quick. Awesome. And yes, so this is Slice Machine UI. This is our local environment for working with basically our data models, both for the entire page and also for slices, those specific horizontal components, right? Sure. So I think we can start in slices. So if you go over to the left, these are the slices that we have created. And as you can see, I don't have that navigation bar here. So it's just, I just need to delete it from the other thing. But these are the components that I've built out already. I want to make a new one with you. We're going to make that testimonial section. So if you go up, you nailed it. It's an intuitive UI. What can I say?
There we go.
So yeah, call it anything kind of like camel case. So testimonial section is kind of the pattern that we're using.
Cool.
Perfect.
Goes
And then
into
this
slices?
yeah.
Cool.
So then the nice thing about it is that you can reuse libraries across projects. And so that's why it's asking you for your target library, so that you can bring it with you from project to project and not start from scratch every time. So that's the nice thing. And eventually, you know, being able to be like, hey, Ben, I've got this awesome library of slices. Do you want to start with these, and being able to share them and just kind of keep your own, the way that you might have like your own boilerplate of an 11T setup or something, right? Like oh, I know this setup. This is what suits my purposes. I'm going to use this over and over and kind of start from there. You can go ahead and hit save. That's perfect.
Cool.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
No, you're good.
My monologue.
No, you're good. So it seems like a great mixture between like CMS and design system almost. Like you almost have a component library there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's like why we want that tight coupling with Storybook. So Storybook does a couple things for us. It allows us to see mocks quickly and like give you that great developer experience. But it also gives you what you're seeing there in that window with like the transparent background. That's a snapshot that Storybook just took.
Oh, okay.
And so like clearly that there's not a whole lot there. If you go over to Storybook in the last tab, you should have a testimonial section.
Yep.
At the bottom.
Yeah.
So we just have some default. It does like not lorem ipsum, but some other ipsum, right? So you can see like re-intermediate 24/7 action items. It's just like, I think it's like business ipsum or something. But
I've
anyway.
definitely seen this like from my business partners, you know, in an email or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's like verbatim a thing that they ask you to do.
We need to optimize our business intelligence to like accelerate the synergy of the top performers. Synergy.
Yeah. No. Synergy is important, and we all need more of it. 100%, I think, is a daily recommended dose of synergy.
Yes.
I'm thinking of vitamin C. I'm sorry, I'm confused. Cool. So so what we just did when we hit save, we created actually you can hop back into VS Code and we can see what was actually generated, because it generated some code for us just to kind of make it a bit quicker. So it generated cool. So it created just kind of a basic React component.
All right.
It created the model JSON based on the data that's just the boilerplate, and we're going to change that in a second. And then we don't have to dig into it, but like it's kind of tucked away up in a folder. But it also created a Storybook file for us. Exactly there.
Okay.
So so in assets. And then slices, testimonial slice. Yep. And so it tucked it in the default slice because we can have a variation on this. And it created some mock data and a Storybook file all for us.
Cool.
And so it's just a nice way to kind of get up and going and not have to worry about the boilerplate, right? Like it's trying to make this as smooth as possible. And honestly, once you get this up and running, the momentum you can get with like cranking out slices, it's I'm not just saying this because I work at Prismic. I really truly enjoy the speed at which you can just like make progress with building these out. So let's make some
Awesome.
progress. Let's
Yes.
head over to yep, yeah, right here. So those are the title and description things that come as the default. We can hit the three dots and delete them both.
Okay.
Just get rid of them. It's kind of like I don't know if you've ever used Blender, but you always go in and you just wipe the scene. It's just like
Yes.
there's a default cube,
Yeah.
and the first step in every tutorial, delete the cube.
Thank
So
you
it's
for
just-
this cube. I am done with it.
Exactly. It's just what you do. And I sent you, and I can send them again. I sent you like an image of a wireframe. Maybe I should prepare that a little better than just DMing it to you. But I'm happy to
Let me pull it up. I can...
copy. Can we copy link? Yeah. Do you want me to drop it on you? Do you have like a second screen?
Yeah, there we go. Here.
Perfect. There we go.
Here's
Awesome.
what we're doing. Oh. Yeah. So
Oh, good.
yeah, we got the testimonial itself, like the quote. We've got I see we've got the attribution. There's gonna be an image, and then maybe also a brand, it seems like, too.
Yeah, we could do that. So I'm getting this from my friend Matt Pringle over at Digital Surgeons. His wireframe kit is great. It's called the Elliot kit, and so I don't have a link ready, but I get a lot of my wireframes like for stuff like this from his awesome kit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send it to you later, and you can maybe put it in the description or something.
Good.
I don't know. But that's the thought. So I can kind of tell you what things we need for that. And basically, so we're going to need an image. So you can go ahead and hit add new field. Yep. Because we're going to put this in the non-repeatable zone. Nothing here is going to be repeatable. That's kind of like if you want to do a grid of logos, right? You would put it in the repeatable zone, and you would choose image, and then you could do like, people love our jelly, and have all these logos of companies that have bought your jelly. Like the classic logo grid for the jelly entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So if you go ahead and hit image,
makes sense. And then I can.
And then just image works because like we're not going to have a lot of different images, so that's fine, right? And so that just added that to our like we're building out our data model with this UI, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now let me go back and just see. We need the actual like the quote. So I think if you do add a new field, and we can just do a key text at the bottom. I kind of prefer those just with the way that the React component works. If you just go quote, I think that's fine. That
What's the
kind of sums
difference
it up.
between the key text and the rich text?
The rich text? Yeah, so the rich text is it gives you more freedom to do like bold and italics and things like that. And also like you can decide how you want it to be, whether it's an H1 or it's only paragraphs or it's an H2 and H3. Just for the sake of like kind of locking it in and also not having to worry about turning that object because it comes back as JSON. You have to run it through the rich text component. For this, we'll just kind of take the easy way out and go with what's just going to come back as a string.
Cool.
Right. And then just the name, right? So another key text field for name, I think would be fine.
Yep. Attribution name.
Perfect. That's even better.
That's not how you spell attribution. There we go.
ATTRABUTION. Yep, that looks good.
Cool. Attribution name.
And then we can do. Do you want to do the logo, or we can just hold off on that?
I think we can hold off on that probably.
All right, cool. So one thing that we're gonna want to do, and like I said, this is still like this is an alpha build, and so there's always going to be like small, rough UI things. We just have to go back into each of these by hitting the edit button and add a label. It's just a small thing that we have a fix coming for. Just image, just like capital I image, but it's
so
slight inconvenience now. But
what is that label
fix.
I just set? What is this doing for us?
So actually, great question. So if you hit save here. I can actually show you. And then if you hit save model to file system at the top right, you can see, and it did take another snapshot, but we didn't change anything about the way that our React component looks. So that didn't really change all that much.
Cool.
But now we've got this testimonial section. And just to show you, to answer your question, let's go over to custom types.
Okay.
Up at the top right. Yeah, sorry. And we're not going to edit the blog post. We're going to edit the page. The blog post is just empty. It was just to kind of create a second type. Now, this is the place where you can say, I want to give my editors a page type that they can go and build anything with, or I want to give them a blog post type where they can build with like a subset of all the components, right? Because like in a blog post, you might not want to give the editors the ability to, in the middle of that blog post, put a hero section or a contact us or an FAQ, right? Like you as the developer, we want to give you the control to say, these are the components for this type. And so you could even create a contact custom type where the only thing that they can choose for that page is the contact form. Certain pages call for those different components. So what we're going to do is we're going to add that component that we just made to the available group here. So if you hit edit slices right there, perfect. You see a testimonial section is not checked. We can hit save, perfect. And then if you scroll up to the top, we are going to save this to file system. And what that does is that edits the JSON file for this custom type on our local machine. And now we need to push that file up to Prismic. And that's going to take a second. We need to log in. I saw this coming, but I forgot about it. So you might want to switch screen or something. It's Prismic login. It's just a command.
I got y'all confused with the database. So let me pull this.
Prisma, got it. Yeah.
Let me pull this off so I can privately log in because I everything is done via password manager. So in the meantime, how are things going?
I'm so scared, Ben. No. This is super fun. But so just to kind of explain, we just we take security very seriously. So we make it so that token expires after a day, just to make sure that you are logged in. We're working on making that so that maybe you can open a window and click the login button or do something that's just a little bit more seamless in the workflow there. But that's why you're logging in. But yeah, so basically once we push to Prismic, we're going to go into the UI and just kind of see what we've got going on, and we will see where that label exactly is showing up, because you as the developer for your editors can just, you have to give them the information so that they can make right decisions, right? Took 10 seconds. That's fascinating. Thank you for the time. That's also a lot of time.
Because I was I'm typing
it's
and
just,
stuff like that. This is, I don't know.
It's just funny that it gave you that feedback.
So that's not Prismic, that's my prompt. I'm using Starship.
Okay, got it. I was just surprised that we I don't remember it doing that and then giving you feedback. Okay, cool.
It took you 10 seconds to log in. Congratulations, beat your
and then
time.
we rank you. You can earn badges if you log in.
I'm gonna beat my high score at logging in.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I've logged in.
So if you push that push to Prismic button one more time.
All right, you got it. Matt, thank you for putting that in the chat. I appreciate that.
I've not heard of that, or maybe I don't think I have. Cool. So it's pushing up, and it's just going to change the shape of our custom types up on Prismic. And once again, this is great because the way it used to be is that you have to do it all on Prismic, and you don't get the same level of version controlling it with Git, right?
Yes.
Like you're still able to go back with the way that you can do it in the browser on Prismic.io, but with version control, I mean, I don't think I need to sell you or the audience on the benefits of Git, right?
Yeah.
But that's cool. Yeah, interesting. It's taken a little bit of time. I wouldn't click it twice, but I think it took a bit of time to spin up. I think it might be related to the processor thing that we were seeing earlier. I don't know.
Probably. There we go.
Okay, synced with Prismic, model is correctly saved. Awesome. So if we go to Prismic,
You got it.
And if we're on the homepage, yeah, so if you refresh this, we should see our testimonial with, so yeah, so now if you hit the plus button when it loads up,
There we go. So hit this little boy,
yeah,
and then I should
don't
see.
chat, don't clip that out of context, all right? That's
God.
don't.
Alex, no.
I'm telling you, I'm yelling at the chat, don't do it. Yeah, so testimonial section, you see, first off, that the snapshot, because we haven't changed the React code, wasn't all that whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then we have two things labeled text and text.
Oh,
so
okay.
we didn't pass it a label, right? So so I was gonna say, for the image, we should probably grab someone's face. I can work on getting that off of
Yeah.
Unsplash. But if you want to go back into Slice Machine and fill out labels for that, I can get us some images of people.
Cool. Sounds good.
Or of a person, just one person. We're not gonna do a ton of testimonial here. Just a testimonial. And I'm wondering if chat gave us a really great testimonial yet. I'll have to check in a little bit. Person. Getting a person from Unsplash. Try not to get the same person that everyone gets.
Then
Okay. It's a good way to drop this to you. Is Discord a good way?
could be. I mean, are you able to just like log into
Link
Prismic
you?
and add it yourself, or should I?
That's a great point. I have access to this, don't I?
Yep.
I'm an adult.
Uh,
All right. So yeah, I can definitely do that. Let's go to home. I'm gonna go in and let me just check where you're at. Cool. So I can do that. Yeah. I'll do that while you're pushing that up.
Cool.
I'm gonna add it.
I just
I'm gonna bring this back up.
my poor machine right now. I don't want to try to upload images or anything like that. I need to figure out what's...
I totally hear you.
Used to be like this thing was like perfect for this, and it's not an old computer. I've had it for not even a year now.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like it might have been when I updated to Big Sur, and it's like no.
Is it an M1?
No, it's not.
Okay. I'm just curious. All right, so the first thing was the quote. Wow, this is great. I'll put that up there for now. And I don't know, I'll just put Lorem Ipsum for the name, because I'm not created. All right, cool. So hitting publish it now. Great. I am back. I put an image in there. If you hit refresh here,
Okay.
you should just see an image, but we can wait on that bit. It's fine. So let's keep going. We want to we created the slice, but we need to build it out with some quick CSS and JavaScript bits. So I've added it down. There you go.
Okay.
So put an image in. Wow, this is great. Lorem Ipsum. So let's go back to our Slice Machine instance. If we get the Slice Machine bit, cool. And right there's a white button that says Show Code Widgets.
Interesting.
And I love this because this gives us like these snippets where like I don't have to go in and console log out anything and then figure out like, all right, what's the thing for that, right? It's all right there. So if you hit copy on the image, there you go, and we can go back to our code. We can load up that testimonial section. The JavaScript. Yep, perfect. So you can pretty much gut everything inside the section tag. It's a section element.
Should I leave the? I'll leave the style.
Nope.
In there.
Yeah. No. You can gut it all. Yeah.
Gut it all.
We're not gonna use the style tag because it is it's just not the way that we're gonna style it. So if you pop that image in there, cool. Yeah. So Next will yell at you because Next really wants you to use the image tag, but for now it should at least load. So if we press save here,
and then go back to not Opera. Oh God, Opera. Why?
Did Opera just?
I clicked Opera by muscle memory. This is just gonna
amazing.
be, yeah. The curse of the like return of Opera. Like, how dare you close me, Ben?
if you go to Storybook at the end, because it's not in our page yet, I don't think.
I see.
Yeah, so testimonial. So we've got an image, right? So that's coming in, and with next image and also in Slice Machine, we can specify the size of it, but just for time's sake, I'm just going to keep kind of
Yeah.
trucking along. So if you want to go back to Slice Machine and grab the next snippet O code,
Okay.
we can grab that quote. And what do you think we should put the quote in for an element?
Block
I'm going to
quote.
defer to you.
It's a block quote.
Awesome. That is...
It's a block quote, and then probably inside here we can make the actual quote a. Oh, I see. It's adding it to a span. I'm just gonna remove that span. That's probably fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I remove that all the time. It just
and then
tries to help.
Probably, I know the next one is just gonna be. I think this is the syntax for this. So anyways, slice primary attribution name.
Attribution name, yeah. Cool.
And I think there's like mixed feelings in the like web dev, like in the like web specs world about like, can you put a site inside a block quote? I do.
All right, it's settled. Web dev community, listen up.
Yeah.
We're putting them inside now. That's what it is. That's what we're doing. So I'm on board. Cool. So if you hit save, you can go back to Storybook and just make sure that that's loading. It's not going to look good, but it's going to be there. There we go. So once again, we've just got the mock data in there. So it doesn't know that it's supposed to be a name or anything. It's just putting in strings, right?
Yep.
So from this, we can we've got about 15 minutes. So to make sure we're not going over, we can at least put this into like a 2-column layout, right?
Let's do it.
So if we go to our code,
okay.
I've got Tailwind on this. So if you go to the section and add class name to the section, class name, and we can do grid. Love me some grid. And what we can do is if you hit space grid hyphen cols, COLS, and then -1. And then what we're going to do, so that's going to be the fallback for mobile. And then we're going to do space MD for medium and up, colon. I know I'm throwing a lot at you right now. We don't have time to walk through the intricacies of Tailwind, so I'm just going to kind of say characters at you. I apologize. So for medium browsers and up, we're going to go grid cols 2, grid COLS -2. Same thing, just 2 columns. So if you hit and no, that should work well because we got the block quote as one thing. Yeah. So hit save and let's check that out in Storybook.
Okay. So
there we go. So we're on our way, right? This is not great, but we've got a 2-column layout that goes to 1.
Yep. We would presumably add a whole lot more like typography and margins and stuff like that, but
yep. And we still can, but maybe let's double back to it if we get through some of the other stuff, because I think we got some other cool stuff that we can get to.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's do that. So let's go to Slice Machine. So now that we've created this slice, right? So this slice exists. We already did add it to our page. So we created the slice and then we said, I want this slice to be available to the page type. So
yes,
that should be good. Actually, if you go to our local host, we should have that. If we refresh, it should show up in all of its unstyled glory.
There we go.
And there it is. So it's a huge image because we didn't put any kind of bounds on it, right?
Yeah.
Like I copied it from Unsplash, famously big images. We pasted it in. It's large, and I think the only thing that's limiting it is the width of your screen. You see it's taking up full, right? So like I think it can just keep going. So we could fix that in a few different ways. I don't know if that's as fun or important as kind of moving forward, but if you go to Slice Machine super quick, no pressure. I'm not trying to tell you have to move super quick. Just but if you hit the edit on the image type, you see there responsive views. So there, we kind of give you control to set different sizes, and then you can query them in like a source set. So we've got that built in with Prismic. One of my favorite parts about Prismic is that when you upload an image to Prismic, you're actually leaning on the Imagix CDN, which if you're familiar with Imagix
Oh,
or
okay.
services like Cloudinary, same sort of thing where you can tack on query parameters and say
Mhm.
like I want it to crop to a face and I want it to
Yes.
round it and I want it to be a sepia tone and I want it so like just from putting it into Prismic, you don't have to go and worry about I want to host my images in Cloudinary but manage them over here in my CMS. We handle both. That's Imagix
Oh,
under the
impressive.
hood.
That's
So
that's really
yeah, so
impressive.
it's super handy. And yeah, and you get to avoid things like spending a lot of time with Gatsby compiling all your images down because you can instead do it with query params with the Imagix CDN or
Nice.
with their service. So just something to be aware of. What we would do if you had more time, go through and set out different responsive views, and you can do some art direction there too. Where on
Okay.
widescreens, I want it to be tall and thin, but on phones, I want it to be short, right,
Yes.
and wide. It's totally up to you. You can set it there, but we
Nice.
can come out of that. I just wanted to point that out, in that there's a great solution there.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah. That's what I'm here for, Ben.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me. Cool. So real quick, let's actually pretend that hey, if we put 3 of those testimonials in a row, it's gonna look kind of bad because it's just like image. Let's create a variation of this slice. So if you see it at the top there, it says default slice in a dropdown, right? So you can click add new variation. And we can just call this like image on right or whatever you want to call it, but that's just kind of going to be the essence of it, right?
Okay.
Image on right, and it's going to create a variation ID for us, and that's kind of the flow that we're looking for with the labels. But duplicate from default slice, so you see that like where you can make multiple variations, and you can imagine like a content slice that has image in background, image on top, on left, top bottom, top right. Like we are giving you, the developer, the power to not have to make a million slices, but to make a few slices that have the combinations that your editors want.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going to clone from the default slice because it's going to take that data from there, the shape of the data from there.
So if I duplicate from default slice and then later down the road I update default slice, do those changes propagate to the like descendant slices?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
No, that's going to no. They will deviate.
Cool. So there's a hard fork.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Cool.
Cool. And this is the same that like we could say make a variant with a button, and then we could add that here. But for this purpose, we're just going to change more of it in the code.
Okay.
Or like we said, we could add the logo to this one, right? Like thing with logo, but that you might just do that a different way. But anyway, save model to file system at the top right.
Cool.
And that just updates that JSON file that we saw before. And
thinking about it.
You can do it. You can do it.
I need Jason Langsdorff's little come on little compooper overlay.
Yeah. And and you saw Storybook took a picture of it right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
So that's really helpful, so that editors can be like, that's the one I want. I don't know what it's called, but I know that one, right? So if you head to the code, we can just kind of do however you would do it with React, in the sense of if you were passed a prop into your button component or something that said like, this one's going to be dark or light or secondary, or this one comes with an icon, right? Like however you would handle that, we can handle that here. So in the block quote, let's put a class name on block quote. We're just going to do it this way.
Okay.
I'm just going to add a CSS order property to it.
Okay.
So if you do class name, but instead of quotes, we're going to do brackets, and we're going to do a template literal. And so you can do the $. Oh, you know what? No, because we don't have anything else on there. We don't even need to go into all that. We can just do the brackets. Yeah. So you can do slice dot, and I think it's variation. Let me check my code. I have a variation on the hero, I think. Let me just check that real quick. Oh, I'm in the wrong repo. 1 second. Sorry about that. Semantics. Hero section index. I think it's it's variation. So slice that variation is going to come back. Yeah, so slice that variation, we're going to do a ternary. So it's going to be slice that variation equal to or a triple equals, right? And I think we did image
Okay.
on right camel case. Was that the ID? Image.
Ooh, I can type, I promise. Yeah.
Oh,
All
go
right.
ahead.
So this is clicking, and so then we would have an order here. If it is on right, we would have an order, and then otherwise we might just have the empty string.
Yeah, so we can do like an order 0. That's going to bring it to the front, right? Am I getting that right?
I think so. And
If not, we
it's
can put like an order
tailwind,
2
is
on
it
the image.
order dash 0?
Order -0. Yeah, that should do it.
Okay.
Look at
then
you
I'll
picking up Tailwind
look at
so
that.
quick.
You can
yeah, that
teach an
should-
old you can lead an old front end horse to the water, but you can't make an old front end horse learn to drink, or whatever it is.
I think that was perfect. I think that was
I
exactly
think I
it.
nailed it.
That was yeah, that's the classic saying. So yeah, if you hit save there, we can test it because Storybook, when we created that variant, we got a new story. So if you check out Storybook
Okay.
over on the far right,
Yep.
we'll see
Um,
testimonial
ooh.
section now has 2, and I'm wrong or something went wrong there. Let's instead add that code to the to the image that
Okay.
it's like
Yeah.
order 2. I'm not sure if order 0 is a thing. Actually, can we check first? Is image on right actually what we called it? That
Believe
might
so.
be it.
Uh,
Image on right. Yes. Okay. Okay. Cool. Just making sure because I was going off
Yeah.
memory for that.
let's see.
Yeah. So let's just go back real quick. Put class name. Yeah. Put that whole bit on
Yep.
the image and instead put that to image or to order 2. So it's just a quick way. I'm pretty sure that should go in. Does that work in grid? Am I conflating that? Is that just a flex thing?
It might be a flex thing. Let's see.
Order
Oh, grid.
MD.
Grid. It's like grid. Here, let me.
It's span. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm thinking
God, Opera's open again.
cascading style
we go.
sheet.
Yeah.
Uh,
CSS.
Flex or grid. No. It should be good. Oh, order -1 was what I was going for, but let's just keep with what we've got.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
because the initial value is 0, so we should have went -1, but this is
I
fine. So
see.
do order -1. There you go. That should
1 on the image.
or 2. Let's just be
Okay.
safe. Let's just overshoot it for the sake of the stream.
Yeah.
Kids, don't try this at home.
We promise we are professionals. Ah, look at that! It did it for us. Okay.
Cool. So if you go back to the default slice, you can see that we or in Storybook, it's fine. The original shouldn't be changed, right?
Right.
There we go. Cool. So just with that, we're essentially just passing that as a prop back to your slice, and you're able to do whatever you want with it, right? So you can style to your heart's content, change it from a dark mode, light mode, whatever you want to do
Yeah.
with just that variation, and you can change the data and get a different set of data in. Cool. So if we push all this up to Prismic, if you go back to Slice Machine, our little local builder, and make sure that that's pushed up, it's going to go ahead and take snapshots not just of your first one, or not just of your default slice, but also of the image on right.
Okay.
So if we go back to prismic.io, I know we're doing a lot of jumping. It can be a little confusing, chat. Like I totally understand that we're hopping back and forth a lot. I promise that does get a bit more. You find your footing after a little bit with this workflow, and it's really nice. Did you hit refresh? Just
I will
curious.
hit refresh.
Cool.
And like, as a developer, yeah, you're gonna be hopping into Prismic.io to confirm that everything looks right and is usable. But mainly, this Prismic interface is for the content editors, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep. So if you head to the testimonial,
switch
cool, and if you
variants.
go to that switch variations,
Aha!
you should see, and so if you hit save
Save.
there,
and then also
publish on our local host. Actually, did you hit publish already?
Not yet.
It's
Well-
it's so hit that I on the right, that's preview mode, and hit local. That's
Ooh,
going to open up a preview mode in
okay.
that local environment. And if everything goes to plan, crossing fingers, yes, it seems like it did. If you
Nice.
scroll down, the image is on the right. And so you see at the bottom, there's that exit preview button there. And so if you
That
click that, it'll go back, it'll exit the preview. If all goes according to plan,
I
crossing
adore that
fingers.
that borrowed the button styles.
I hooked you up, and I love your
Incredible.
buttons, so I had to put that in there. And if you scroll back down, now that we've exited preview and we didn't publish
Oh.
that change, we're
Mhm.
we're back to the what the live site sees, right?
This is
So
production and not, yeah, okay.
essentially, right? Yeah. So by first checking it out, we are shipping that preview feature on the Jamstack and allowing your
Mhm.
editors to kind of get that same thing that they're used to
Ooh.
if they have WordPress or Wix or whatever. So you're shipping a page builder that gives them that same user experience on the editor side without having to buy into a monolithic it just into a the monolith that would be Wix or Squarespace or something like that,
Mhm.
where you as the developer don't get to write those components in the framework that you know is best for the end user, or the
Yes.
framework that you are most comfortable with, or that you know will deliver the Lighthouse scores and the page speed that is good for the end user. So
Yes.
this is kind of that best of both worlds, where editors love it because they can go and create a new page. We are out of time. I don't want to keep people for too long, but we could right now create a brand new page. Say, you know, I'm stuttering so hard. I'm sorry. We have an about page that that we have already created. We could create I don't know, what's another page? Fun facts about me
Yeah.
page, right? And then we can go in, use that hero section, use this testimonial, use all these things, and continue to build out like having a set of Legos. I think someone said in the chat,
Mm.
and continue to build with that. I see Ed. And Lucy is taking that question. Yeah, so we're working on an easy way to ease the integration. So, but Ed, Slice Machine with 11T, not yet, but Slices with 11T, yes. So the concept of you've built this component and your editors can drag and drop it, reuse it, remix it. That is for anything. I mean, if you think about it, it's just a request, right? Like
Yeah.
you're just hitting an API. After that, whatever you want to do with it, you can do with it. So it's that same thing of like running it through a loop and rendering it out into 11T. I think Lucy actually even created a 11T and Prismic library, some helper functions that allow you not to use Slice Machine, but to use Prismic and Slices in 11T. So some of the cool things that we saw here, like Storybook and the snapshots, stuff like that, isn't yet available with 11T, but it's, you know, we're working on it, and you can still get the benefit of shipping a page builder on the Jamstack with 11T and Prismic. So
Interesting. And I know that the question was also in part about other tech as well, right? Not just 11D, but I'm wondering if the new 11D serverless stuff is going to make it a lot easier for y'all to integrate with 11D like that, like integrate Slice Machine in particular.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I saw you and Zach working with that. That was awesome. I'm super excited about it though. I'm excited to get into 11T, and I know that Lucy is also. 11T serverless will allow previews to work. Yeah, exactly. That's gonna definitely help out with a lot of those features. So it's an exciting time, and we didn't get a fully styled component, but I think we saw kind of the power that Slice Machine can bring us with local version controlled data models, being able to push up a snapshot, have Storybook integrated so seamlessly, creating stories for our variations. We have that preview mode. Like I think we touched on a good amount within the hour. So
for sure. Well, thank you. I guess, what is one thing you're most excited about for Prismic in the future?
Oh, for Prismic in the future, besides all the stuff that we just touched on, that is tough to say.
Sure.
Yeah, honestly, that is a good question, Ben. Just besides the fact that I'm excited. I just gushed about all the stuff that I'm excited about. I'm excited for Slice Machine to come to frameworks like Gatsby. I love Gatsby personally. A lot of my
Mhm.
sites are in Gatsby. Also love Next. And Eleventy is something that really interests me. Like I'm excited for this to.
Mhm.
We are Lucy. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but like Slice Machine is coming to Svelte if it's not already kind of available. Because basically it's a code generator under the hood, right? Like it's
Mhm.
creating those templates, it's creating those um, storybook stories with a nice UI that makes it really easy to work with Storybook and push to Prismic. It just makes things a lot smoother. And so underneath, it's generating those components and facilitating that exchange between Storybook, Prismic, and your framework of choice. So it coming to Gatsby, I'm super excited about it. Kind of just permeating the way that the developer experience with Prismic
Mhm.
improves. I'm excited about kind of the whole flow. I know it's a cop out answer, but I'm sticking with
Hey,
it.
for sure. I dig it. Well, Alex, thank you so much for hopping on. I'm gonna put your Twitch in the chat again because I've been
Awesome.
super enjoying everything you're doing. What is your next stream going to be?
Next stream, if not today, if I have any energy, maybe in a couple hours.
Okay.
Um, but definitely Tuesday. Wednesday is the one that I'm excited about. Zach Saucier, good friend, great developer.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be the developer relations person of GreenSock, so he knows like GreenSock in and out.
Okay.
He's the person that I go to ask like, hey, this tricky thing in GreenSock, how do I do it? And he will throw the demo to me that he
Nice.
made last year. He is a fantastic developer. He's coming on to do some I think it's Pixie.js. It's basically some image particle distortion stuff. I'm super excited for it.
Nice.
He's just awesome, and we've got great guests every Wednesday this whole month, and every Wednesday, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, uh, check us out, Component Carousel on Wednesdays, and that's the thing. Thank you
Cool.
for everyone for coming out. It was a great chat.
Absolutely. Thank you all for being here. That's been excellent. Thank you for coming out to more antics. I suppose
Yep.
I think a rebrand is in the works, perhaps. I will speak to my lawyers. But yeah, thank you all for coming out. I wasn't joking earlier when I said that Chance Strickland is coming on next Tuesday. If you're unfamiliar,
Awesome.
he does a lot of great accessibility stuff working for Reach UI. Uh,
Cool.
which is a super fantastic accessible component library that's designed to be super composable. And we're going to be hopping into some of the latest and greatest in. I don't know if you saw the WWDC announcement about stuff coming in Mac OS Monterey and specifically Safari 15. We're going to take a look at a preview of that, assuming my
Cool.
poor little computer can handle it. Um, so it's going to be good. That's next Tuesday, 12 p.m. Central. And yeah, with that, I think we can call this stream a success. Alex, thank you one more time for hopping on. This has been a ton of fun.
Ben, I'm honored to be here. This was great. Thank you so much.
Have a good one, y'all. Bye.
Take care.